What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Pickler, and in this video I'm going to be breaking down just some of the top water baits that I'm using this time of the year. A couple weeks back went to Potholes and caught a lot of nice largemouth and smallmouth, and a lot of people were asking me what I was using out there. Well, I'm just going to break it down to some of the things we did use out there, as well as things that I use out on the water to be successful when I'm fishing top water. So let's start off with frogs. My favorite frog I like to use is the snag-proof Bobby Barrack Delta frog. It's the softest frog on the market, period. There is no frog softer than this, and the hooks really sit just right on there. See how it kind of sticks right, kind of out right there? The hookup ratio is really good on this frog compared to some of the other frogs because it's so soft. This is like my favorite color to use, but I always use a lot of black and yellow, and black and whites are really good too. And then like a white one or some with some green. Another good frogs to use are the spinning wads. Spinning wad frogs are really good. These ones are fairly soft too, and you got the popper in the front there, so it really kicks a lot of water. If you hit it, you popping them really hard, the water just explodes off of it. These are really good frogs. I use a lot as well. Use white ones too, and live target frogs are really good. They're really bulky. I don't like the way the hooks sit on these. You see, they're really low. I just think that the hooks could be better. That's like the one downfall to this frog, but it's still a good frog. And their mouse frog is really good too. Another thing about this is their hooks are really tight on the body. I don't think the hookups are as good, but they make really good quality frogs. They're fairly soft and they look really good. And a frog I haven't used in a while, but I should use more often, is the Depths Barvisky frog. I've had this frog forever. I mean, this frog I've probably owned for at least, maybe 10 years, but it's a really good frog. It does a little plopping sound, and it just walks itself back and forth. You don't have, that's how you work, you just reel it back in. So the only bad thing, it does have only one hook on there, as you can see. But this frog is so soft, that one hook's all it needs when you set the hook, because when a bass gets this, it takes it right away and you just set the hook. So it's a really good frog. They're a little pricey. I think I bought mine back in the day close to 20 bucks, but the action is amazing. So let's see. So other things I use, Whopper Ploppers is like my #1 top water lure I like to use. I like using the big one. This I think is like what's this one, a 130 or something? I'm not sure, but this one is like I use. The best colors I think to use are monkey butt. Monkey butt works really good for smallmouth, and when it comes to largemouth, I like to use the black colored ones the most. But I have most of my success using the smaller ones, the 90s I think these are, and the black and yellow is my favorite, as well as like monkey butt and just like a white bone. These are really good as well. Now you're not going to go wrong with also using some type of spook bait. Regular spooks work really well. I don't personally like the hooks. I think the hooks are a little cheap, but the reason why I think these ones attract a little bit more fish is because it gives it a little more flash because they are chrome. But if you're going to use a spook style bait out on the water, I recommend you guys using, let me get one of these ones, the Dual Realist Pencil bait. It's basically exactly a spook, but the difference is that this thing casts so much further, and it has a bead in there, a bearing that is so loud. Do you hear that? It's so nice. Action's really good. It really like hits both sides, when you're walking the dog, and really good hooks, really sharp hooks. And the paint scheme actually works really well. You can see like where the hook is scratching it up. I don't know, let me see right there along the body. But look, the paint is still good, and I've used this for a long time. Really good baits. I like to use the chartreuse and whites for a largemouth, and let me see, all my baits are hooked up here. And I like to use like a bluegill pattern. This is a really nice bait. Look at the paint scheme on these compared to like regular spooks and other brands. These things don't wear out, and I've used this a ton. I mean, you could see the hook, where the hook is scraping up against the body up there. You see, like, from the treble hook scratching. But look at the paint. The paint is good. These are like the spook style baits I recommend people to buy because the paint's really good and they last a long time. And like I said, you can actually see in here. You see the bead in there, and it's loud. Really attracts the bass in. Another lure that looks ridiculous, but I've had a lot of success with, is the pompadour. I think the pompadour is a topwater bait everyone should have in their tackle. Yeah, they're pricey. You know, they're upwards to, you know, close to $20, but just look how ridiculous it looks. Basically, it's like a jitterbug. Let me see. I got a jitterbug here somewhere. Where's the jitterbug? See, here's a jitterbug right here. See, this is like a jitterbug. The only difference is that when you cast a jitterbug, it just twists up in the air and flies like crap. But when you cast this one out, the wings go in and it flies really far. I mean, look, I still even got some vegetation on it from last time I used this thing. This is such a good lure. I lost a lot of big fish on this lure as well. But really good lure. I would recommend you guys trying the pompadour. Pompadour is such a good lure. These are like, right here, I'll show you my two favorite colors right here. And then I always like a lot of dark baits. They're really good baits. So that's other good lures to use. Let me see what other lures. Buzz baits, you know, I like to use the Mega Strike, Cavatron. It's really good bait. It already has the holes there, so it creates the bubbles. They actually swim pretty true. You know, they sometimes go in a little angle and you might have to bend the shaft a little bit, but overall still a really good bait. The only knockoff on it is I don't like the skirt because it's just held by a rubber band, and I think to me that's cheap. But you know, I always run a trailer hook when I'm throwing my buzz baits. Another buzz bait you could use, a lot of people are using now, are these double ploppers. They're pretty good baits. They look nice. The only knock on it just doesn't cast quite well. You know, you're not going to cast these a ton of distance. Look, I even got veg on here last time I used it, vegetation on there. Gotta take that off. Can't cross-contaminate these lakes, right? But yeah, you see right here, it just like, it just seems like you have to cast it out there and let it sit a while before you can actually retrieve it, because it'll kind of be tilted to the side and won't run true. You almost have to run it really slow. But it's not a buzzbait I'd use all the time, but there are certain situations that you might want to use this. They actually run pretty good through lily pads because it floats. So they're still really cool. I got the black one here. I got a monkey butt, and then you always gotta have, like, you know, a white one. So those are good. Now here's a newer one on the market here. Jeez, you know, I totally already forgot what the brand name on this, but this buzzbait really runs well. It casts so far, and because of the body right here, see the paint scheme looks really good, nice eye. It runs really well on the water, and what's cool about it is that it has two treble hooks on there, so when a bass blows up on this, most likely you're not missing that fish. You'll probably catch them for sure. So those are basically the topwater lures I'm using right now. Like, so out of all the lures I'm using, my favorite one, like if I just pick like my top 3 lures out of here to use, I would probably use, well, you know, you can always use like a popper too before I get into it. This is a Diva popper, really nice one. It has a prop on there, really good for smallmouth. But if I was going to use any topwaters right now to catch a big bass, number 1, I'm going to go with a Whopper Plopper. Whopper Plopper, you're not going to go wrong with it. I would suggest getting these 2 sizes. You're going to catch big bass with these, and they're really easy to fish because all you do is cast them out and you reel it in. Then I would go with a Pompadour, would be my number 2. Pompadour, just going to call in big bass. They make a plop, 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 and then the blade, you know, buzzes around. It, you know, it's pretty sweet, and it's a really good bait to use. I would recommend using this. And then I would recommend using a spook. Spook's always going to catch you a lot of fish. So those are the 3 lures I would use the most: the Whopper Plopper, the Pompadour, and the spook. And you know, that's a lot of open water. But you know, if you are going to go into like those weedy situations, especially lily pads, obviously you're going to want to go with a frog. And my number 1 go-to frog is the Snag Proof Bobby Barrack frog. Best frog on the market, in my opinion. Great hooks, really soft, and hookup ratio is a lot higher than some of the other markets frogs on the market. So Uh, yeah, I'm sorry I haven't been making a lot of videos. I've been really busy doing a lot of other things. My truck needed to get tuned up. I'm about to get brakes done and a bunch of different things like that. So I'm really busy right now on the weekends. And but I'll be getting out on the water here in the next couple weeks. I won't be probably getting on this weekend. I wish I would, but I'm probably gonna get the brakes done on my truck because that's important when you're towing. You don't want, you know, your brakes going out, and my rear brakes are like at 2 millimeters. If you guys know what that means, that's pretty low. So got to get that done. So I'll be out on the water. I'll be making more videos soon, and I'll continue making the best place to fish in Washington videos. I've just been really busy, so I haven't had a chance to really get in on that. So if this video was informative for you, and it's I appreciate if you guys leave a like, comment, subscribe. Share it with other people. Let me know. Just let me know what frogs or what topwater baits you're using. What's working for you or has worked for you in the past? Because I'm always interested to know what other people are using. I mean, I'm out here sharing my stuff with you, and sometimes I like to see what my subscribers are using out there in the water. So until the next video, always make sure you hook them hard.